I got the controversy.
Because like there are some in here that like obviously we one, but like it seems like
I just realized this is me watching Nova, watching some other guy, watching Miley Cyrus. 2018, everybody.
Why does commentary content and commentary culture in general appeal to us? Its very existence feels almost counterintuitive. Why watch someone else look at a meme or watch a funny video when you could look at it yourself? Why watch someone comment on the news when you could watch it yourself? I want to try to answer these questions, but in order to do that, I'll need to lay some groundwork. I want to rewind the clock and look at streaming video's predecessor, television. We watch what's on TV because it shows us something beyond ourselves, beyond our sofa and our living rooms. TV gives us characters and people that entertain us, but we find them entertaining because they're doing things we are not. The people who get to be on TV and the viewer look very different. While the characters and personalities on TV are doing interesting things worth watching, the viewer is sitting at home. In 2018, Americans watched on average 5 hours and 57 minutes of video a day. Many people have talked about the potential problems with these levels of consumption, but I think late author David Foster Wallace was able to most clearly highlight the problem I want to focus on today. 6 hours a day is more time than most people consciously do any one thing. How people who absorb such doses understand themselves changes, becomes spectatorial, self-conscious. The viewer consuming TV at these levels starts to become painfully aware of the difference between themselves as a passive consumer and the exciting, interesting people that they're watching. Advertisers began to leverage the viewer's desire to be more like what's on screen. Wallace says, TV's real pitch in these commercials is that it's better to be inside the TV than to be outside watching. The viewer knows what's on TV is what's interesting, what's valuable, otherwise why would they be watching it? But TV's glorification of the noticeable individual is an implicit condemnation of the passive consumer currently sitting at home on their sofa. The reality that reality TV presents will never represent the viewer's reality. Someone's viability as a subject for reality TV is related to how unlike the average TV viewer they appear. When we watch TV, we're happy to watch people visit a restaurant, talk about the news, solve crime. But while you're watching people do these interesting things, you, by necessity, cannot be. And when you're watching for 6 hours a day, it's hard to make time in your life to do those things that TV is encouraging you to do by presenting them to you as something worth watching. Forms of streaming video, like Netflix, all have the same problem as TV. So how do you go about trying to solve this inherent condemnation of the viewer? Wallace himself was concerned with the irony that he saw popping up on TV as a solution to this problem. But I think in this era of online streaming video, a second solution has arisen.
こんばんは。テラスハウスは見ず知らずの男女6人が共同生活する様子をただただ記録したものです。用意したのは素敵なお家と素敵な車だけです。台本は一切ございません。はい。
Japanese reality TV show and Netflix original Terrace House illustrates that solution. Terrace House is really 2 reality shows in one. In addition to the 6 housemates, the show features a panel of 6 commentators who introduce each episode and talk about what we just watched happen in the house.
割とこう初期のメンバーとしてなんかこう爽やかなみんなね。
ホッケーを広めたいそのためにやってきましたっていう子がいいじゃないですか。
翼ちゃんはでもテラハ史上ナンバー1素朴じゃない？
そうですね。
While the drama on Terrace House is toned way down from similar American reality shows,
9時までが仕事で。
9時まで。9時。あ、じゃあ夕飯作っておいてあげるって感じでするか。そうだね。
the reality is still idealized. What goes on in the house is not the viewer's reality, and it's portrayed like a fiction. The show presents the image of the housemates not with a voyeuristic wink and nod to the camera, but in a style we'd associate with fictional dramas. The house side of the show creates the tension for the viewer that Wallace identified. The housemates are usually attractive, work towards goals, go on dates, and generally do things that are more interesting than binge-watching seasons of their latest Netflix obsession. But the second reality show within the show relieves that tension. Terrace House provides us with a panel of commentators who are proxies for the viewers. They are viewers of the show, and we get to watch them watch and talk about what they watched. This appears to the viewer as a real reality. It's your reality, or at least a better mirror of your very reality while you're watching the show than what goes on in the house is. The reality of this panel is so obvious and so like our own that even though the panel is the more unique and unusual element of the show, its presence is never explained, while the premise of the house is restated in every episode. The ideal the panel presents is one you can live up to while you're watching.
雄大とでも亜美ちゃんがちょっとそういう恋愛っぽいことになってなんか無理無理言ってる亜美ちゃんが最終的には雄大の身の回りのこと全部やってるみたいなさ。そんなんも見たいけどな。
男によって変わっていく。でも料理はやっぱ料理人だけあってすごかったです。
玉ねぎ嗅いでましたか？
そうあれやってたよね。
あれちょっと
あれ分かるかね何かが。
The panel teaches you how to watch the show, guides your perspective of the show, and provides you with a simulation of watching a show with friends. But perhaps most critically, if we buy into Wallace's theory, it seems to validate your existence and actions as a passive consumer. In order to be like the people on TV, you don't have to turn off Netflix, go make attractive friends, do fun things with them, go on dates. You can just watch other people do those things, and all you have to do is judge and make comments about their actions, laugh at their mishaps, and express frustrations when they do frustrating things. And this all must be valid because that's what those people on TV are doing. Commentators have long existed as part of TV, but they've almost always tried to present themselves as being in a privileged position. They are on TV commentating because they are experts or celebrities. Some of the Terrace House panel are celebrities, but they don't appeal to that advantage to make their commentary. They are presented as the viewer's equal. They sit not behind a fancy desk on a massive set overlooking a fake skyline, but in a mock living room sitting on couches and pillows, as you might if you had some friends over to watch the show with you. Much of online commentary content is the same type of reality TV, giving the audience an on-screen viewer in the same way that Terrace House does. These commentators reinforce the ideal of the consumer while allowing us to consume the same content we wanted to before.
You laugh, you lose. At other people's, you laugh, you lose. That's right, we're gonna react to people reacting to things and see who laughs first. And you're gonna watch me reacting to
PewDiePie presents himself as just a bro in a room with a computer watching stuff and playing games, not very far removed from what his audience looks like when they're consuming his content. The passive consumer is guided, trained, and comforted by the commentary. It turns out what we wanted to see on TV all along was ourselves, but that's a problem because we're boring. The solution? Put someone like us on TV alongside the content we originally wanted to see. I want to be clear that this is not a doom and gloom message about commentary content. What exactly it's doing and why it's arisen is psychologically complex, and I'm only examining one possible reason for why it's risen to prominence recently in this video. But there's a lot more here, and I don't think Wallace's theory of TV's problem and commentary content as a solution tells the whole story. In part 2, I want to discuss commentary culture outside of streaming video and how I think the medium of the internet encourages commentary content. And I want to examine the role of the video essay as a part of commentary content and why it might just be the thing we need in the midst of our growing media consumption. And in the spirit of talking about commentary culture, I want to try to integrate what you have to say into this series. So leave your comment below and I might include it in the next video. Maybe you feel like you've been consuming too much commentary content. If you want to take a step back and consume something different and learn a skill while you're at it, I recommend trying Skillshare. Whatever it is you want to learn, Skillshare has you covered. With over 22,000 courses on a wide variety of topics, Skillshare is one of the best places on the internet to learn or improve a skill. Recently, I've really enjoyed Aaron Drapelin's courses on customizing type and logo design. They're entertaining, and I've learned a lot that has helped me with the little bits of graphic design I have to do for YouTube and video editing. Premium membership for Skillshare starts around $10 a month, but for the first 100 people who use the link in my description, you can get 2 months of Skillshare for free. These usually go quickly, so jump in there while you can. And finally, thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you want to get one of these little stickers and listen to the podcast, head over to patreon.com/ThomasFlight.